here, JBF Music and Guitar Lessons. In this quick guitar tricks we're looking at guitarist J.K. Lee, but probably most famous for his time with Ozzy Osbourne and writing the song Bark of the Moon. Check out that card if you want to learn how to play that awesome intro riff. But yeah, specifically his thumb stretching technique. So this should be a pretty quick lesson indeed, but nonetheless I'll pop the timestamps in the pinned comment and the video description so you can navigate to whatever parts are most relevant to yourself. Alright, J.K. Lee uses this way lower down the fretboard. I think it's actually between the 5th and the 12th frets. I think Dave Mustaine from Megadeth might use this trick further up here, but he does have those spider fingers after all. This example I've gone for here should be a tad easier to get to grips with this technique. Having said that, I don't have any calluses on my thumb, and this is still quite painful, which gives me even more sympathy than usual to when my newer students complain about having sore fingers from playing guitar. Anyway, in a nutshell, you want to use your thumb to hold down the 12th fret on the B and the E strings. There are a few ways you could do this. You could use the side of your thumb or the knuckle, this bit here like that, or rotate your thumb so you're using more of its pad. So the pad is this bit here, kind of the fleshy bit, obviously your knuckle on the side. And you can kind of rotate, say if you start on your knuckle and just kind of move your hand in this direction, towards the pad and find out what's the most kind of comfortable way for yourself to hold it down. What I'm finding to be more comfortable is kind of using a bit of the pad. I'm also tending to bend the knuckle of my thumb. This seems to help me be able to get up to, in particular, that 22nd fret. If I keep the knuckle straight, I think that's a bit harder to make a good connection with. If I bend my thumb knuckle, I can get up there a little bit more easily. But just as a health and safety warning, I would not play like this for any length of time. This wrist position does not look good or natural in any way, shape or form, so just be careful. If you're feeling any tension or pain, like, give yourself a break. I really wouldn't do this for any length of time, like I say. Obviously, if you use the full pad of your thumb, so if you ignore the knuckle completely, go for the pad, you're not going to be able to get the frets because your fingers are going to be behind. Or you maybe get a few of them, but your fingers are going to want to be here, so it's going to be incredibly difficult to get to the fretboard. So just play about with how much of the pad you need to use. I'd maybe suggest starting off with it down all the way, and then kind of rotate it to a point where you can make these stretches fairly comfortably. It might take a while to get used to because this will be a totally different mechanism from what you're used to playing like. If you like the sound of this extended range thing, but aren't too keen on having a sore thumb, check out this bend tapping tutorial with that card in the top right. The other thing to consider here is if you want to bar your thumb or not. So you could hold down the E and the B strings at the same time. You can let them ring into each other if you want, which will be a bit sloppier but will sound kind of cool. But you can also use your finger to mute the E string, which I think I probably did in the intro there. So when you're switching from the E to the B, you could just use this finger to mute that E string. And then we can play the B without any worry of the E ringing out by mistake. The other thing you can do is you can kind of roll your thumb. So you know if you're doing like rolling a finger like that, you can kind of pivot your thumb between the strings as well. You can even pivot and combine it with this kind of finger resting technique for covering all the bases, getting all the muting going on there. The advantage of barring them is that your thumb can stay in the same place. When you're learning a new technique, sometimes it's better not to have too many moving parts to concentrate on. Like I say, the notes might ring into each other, but at the same time that might be an aesthetic that you like. Like I reckon if you use this with a bit less gain, maybe put some reverb or delay on, you could get some really quite cool effects. But yeah, this sort of technique we're using where we're going between one note, that note on the 12th fret is called a pedal point. So for more on that, check out my Yngwie Malmsteen Pro Tips lesson, tutorial for that with the card in the top right. In terms of the music theory, this lick is in E natural minor. If we were just playing it over an E minor, it would go like this, flat 6, root, 5th, root, flat 6, root, flat 7th, root, all of that again. Then on the B string, we have the 2nd, 5th, root, 5th, second, fifth, flat third, root. And then obviously just repeating that again. That's more than enough for my wrist for now, so I'm gonna call it a day there. That was Jakey Lee's stretching thumb tactic. This has been Quick Guitar Tricks. That's the playlist there. For more wide intervals, check out the Steve I Licks to Impress from Building the Church. If you've enjoyed this, want to help the channel grow, stay up to date with new content, hit subscribe, share across social media platforms, press like, leave a comment and enable notifications by ringing that little bell on the side if you feel so inclined. Cheers guys.